leadership of any organization is now giving more priority to the security organization of their company. Then we looked at what is CSOC and what are the steps we can kind of take to kind of improve the SOC. And then we understood yesterday, like kind of what are the different kind of teams, like blue team, purple team, red team. And then we understood what are the specific mission of the SOC team. And at last, we also went through the modern defense mindset, where we kind of looked at these 5 points, which is kind of understanding like we need to kind of presume that a compromise will happen. We need to be kind of have some defense, which is detection oriented. Then we understood like we need to kind of make a risk informed strategy and take proactive detections. And including, we also saw what does post exploitation focus means and what it means for the SOC to be response driven. Okay, so I hope there's no network issues now at my end and I am properly audible to you guys. So now I'll be kind of proceeding with the next points that we kind of will be discussing today. So today, kind of we'll be kind of discussing what's SOC at high level and what are the kind of other modules that we'll be kind of covering, discussing about that. Then kind of have a bird look of how the SOC looks like in an organization, and then different other things like what's the risk appetite of the company, and what the different components of the blue team and the SOC roles and duties, and what do you mean by tired SOCs and tireless SOCs. Okay, so let's start now with SOC at high level. Okay. So let me open my notes. Okay. Okay, guys. So let me go to the mirror now and do one thing. So I'll be now kind of discussing what a SOC means at a high level now, and I'll be kind of discussing about 4 points right now, which are collection, detection, then it's trials, and then it's investigation. So let's see what these 4 terms mean and why kind of I'm specifying what the need of kind of understanding what this 4 point means for a SOC at high level. So thing is that if we are if we are to break the average kind of SOC functions down into the most kind of general set of steps, this would be the 4 steps actually. So which is collect, detect, triage, and investigate. And potentially incident response if you perform these duties as well. So not just the SOC team, every even the incident response team, it is one of the part of the SOC team, also perform this all these 4 steps. Okay, at a very high level, SOC kind of collects multiple types of data using various sensors and tools. Of all the data that is collected or kind of seen, interesting items must be picked out of it at the detection stage. So what happens is that in the collection stage, one of the things that SOC guys implement is kind of collecting different kinds of data. And by data, I means other logs. So, and the logs can be, let's say a company has Windows systems in it, where the company employee uses Linux operating system, or they have different kind of network devices. So all these systems kind of generate logs. And so thing is that the network devices over there kind of collect those logs, and we need to kind of also kind of have pretty much like different kind of signatures on the network devices, which kind of detect certain patterns in the ongoing logs. So in the first part, what we do is the collection. We collect all the necessary log that we can collect, and it will depend on actually uh, what is the kind of database retention, what's the amount of database we have at our end, and what are the necessary things that we want to look into the organization. So once we collect that, and what then we do is kind of we refine that. So then we put out certain rules, we put out certain rules in the network devices. Let's say intrusion detection system or intrusion prevention system, which kind of detects certain kind of patterns in those logs. And once these detections are in place, then it kind of what it does is like if there are any kind of malicious pattern, it actually gives an alert to the SOC team, and then the SOC team looks at those alerts, they tries it, and if needed, if it turns out to be kind of a let's say in the trial it seems to be kind of a little bit suspicious, then the SOC team goes and kind of investigate those alerts. Okay, so this is kind of a quick kind of a introduction about these 4 steps, but let's see these things in much more detail now. So of all the data that is kind of collected or seen, interesting items kind of must be picked out of it at the detection stage. This process is fed by the threat intelligence, attack technique knowledge, information about your environment, and different other stuff. Okay, anything kind of that is interesting becomes an alert and get marked for investigation. Okay, so there will be always be more than one item to attend at once. So trials will be necessary kind of a skill in this process. Ideally, our SOC data organization tools help analysts to pick the most important item first. That is the priority of this step. So what happens, what I mean is that in the trial step, there are in an organization, what happens is like for the uh, for the alerts that comes up from a detection stage. Okay, so there are different tools that are in place. What it helps is like it helps in kind of prioritizing the alerts. Like let's say there are 100 alerts that came at one moment of time, then those tool will kind of do some kind of criticality or severity scoring of those alerts. Let's say in the scale of 1 to 100, and then the SOC team will kind of start with kind of analyzing those alerts which are of highest priority. Let's say for an example, there are different kind of attacks. Let's say you got 3 kind of alerts. One is that there are certain external IP addresses which is trying to scan your website of your company. That is one alert that came up. Then there is one alert that came up is that uh, there has been an alert where it has been seen that attacker is trying to kind of perform not just scanning of the website, but it is also kind of trying to let's say execute SQL based injection. So what I mean by SQL based injection is that uh, I will just kind of give a brief kind of introduction. Let's say SQL injection means that and it allows an attacker to get unauthorized access to the database uh, of that is kind of running behind that website. Okay, so let's say you also get an alert. So what will happen is that there will be few softwares in place. What it will do, it will give a more higher criticality score to the alert, which is linked to the SQL based injection, and it will give a lower basis score. Let's say in the scale of 1 to 100, it will give 10 points to the scanning based alerts that some attacker is kind of scanning the website. And then based on that decision, the SOC team will first kind of go forward and let's say address the first alert, uh, which is related to the SQL based injection. And then they will kind of try the step and check like if what's the kind of impact, is it really true positive, false positive, or kind of